Me and my boyfriend were outside last night, watching the stars. A nice clear, cold winter night. Maybe about -10°C. We heard noises around the area before, usually from across the street. Sounds like a big circular saw. It would make no sense for someone to be using a circular saw at 1:30 a.m., but what made even less sense was that the sound came from 3 different directions. It started at one house, then 10 seconds after, at the house beside, and then in the bush behind both, sounded further. Mr. Brave boy went up to the road and went "Koo-ee-ee-ee-ee." I told him, "Are you sure you want to attract something that makes noises like this?" Waited in silence. A few moments later we hear the sawing-like screech much closer and I hear what sounds like bipedal steps. I turn on the headlamp but I see nothing. Not sure what I was expecting, but I don't really want to see it. I had this deep sense of unease and just told him we should go back home now. We backtracked to the house and went to bed. 2 nights ago as I was in bed reading my iPad, I had a weird feeling. Closed the iPad and decided it was time for bed. As I laid there, I looked up to the corner of my room and saw what I can only describe as a praying mantis, but human size. It looked like my wall was see-through and I could only see his broad shoulders and head. It seemed like it noticed I was looking at it and looked down, then the wall started to fill back in slowly. It was now gone, but behind where it was previously at, I could see pipes and wiring, a very industrial-looking background. Then boom, gone. I was awake, not sleep paralysis, could move freely. We also don't live in a home that uses gas, so no risk of monoxide poisoning. Just wanted to share, smiley face. About 2 months ago, my husband and I were staying in a camper on a friend's property in northern Wisconsin. One night I wasn't feeling very well, so I went and laid down in the camper and promptly fell asleep. A few hours later, around 3 a.m., I suddenly woke up and bolted out the door and started projectile vomiting outside by the window. My husband called out and asked if I was okay. I managed to say yeah in between rounds. When I finally finished and felt like I was okay to go back and lay down, I spit a few more times to get rid of the taste, and as I looked up there was a face about 3 feet in front of me in the darkness. I stared at it. And it at me. I was petrified, I couldn't move, but I was also afraid to take my eyes off of it. I slowly started to move my head up, down and side to try and get a better angle or a closer look, and as I did so it began to mimic my movements. There we were in the darkness of the forest, bobbing up, down, back, forth, slowly leaning closer and closer to one another as we tried to figure each other out. I stared straight into its cold, hollow eyes. I couldn't look away in fear of what would happen if I did. It stared back at me. Almost as if it didn't know what I was either. It was too dark to make out any features, but the face had the shape of a human face, but what I could see on the body from behind the truck just looked hunched over and distorted. We stayed that way for what felt like forever until I finally managed to call out, "Babe." "Yeah," my husband responded. "There is something out here," I said, only slightly raising my voice. "What?" he asked. "I don't know. Some kind of animal?" "I'm not sure, but I'm afraid to move." "It's just watching me," I whispered almost to myself. He opened the door of the camper and looked out into the darkness. "Where?" he asked, unable to see what I was seeing. "It's right in front of me, just watching," I told him, bewildered that he couldn't see it. He grabbed a flashlight and shined it in front of me and it was gone. There was nothing there. I never saw it leave. I kept its cold, dead gaze the whole time. How could it not be there? I am still very confused by this interaction. I know it was there. I saw it. It wasn't a dream. And I know I wasn't hallucinating. Can anybody tell me what they think it was? Edit, just to respond to a few comments. I don't drink and I don't do drugs, so I was not inebriated. I don't remember all the details because I couldn't see very well, but here's what I got. I couldn't tell how tall it was because from what I could see it looked hunched over and disfigured. I don't think it had any fur. It was pale in color, but again it was dark, so I'm not sure what color it was. It had big black, soulless eyes, like looking straight into a void. It had sharp jagged teeth and I don't remember a nose at all. Hope this description helps. Maybe it wasn't a skinwalker because I guess they don't leave Navajo land, but it was really scary. I should also mention that where I was in the woods of Wisconsin was not too far from the Hannahville Indian Reservation in Menominee County, MI, but again not Navajo, so I'm not sure what it was. Now most times, people see shadow people is when they are home alone in the dark, and if you see something out of the corner of your eye, or if you're thinking ominous thoughts, your eyes are going to form the shadows into a person. But have they ever talked to you? I was in high school. My mother kept yelling up the stairs for me to wake up to go to school. Of course I didn't want to go. She yelled out several times no one was home. She was in the kitchen, making me breakfast. I thought to myself I might just cut school today when an ominous loud whisper went right into my ear. Get up now. I swear I even felt the breath. I jumped up, the hair stood up all my arms. I looked around the room. I looked in the closet, under the bed, out the back window, and all the rooms. No one was home, and I know no one was home. It was just me and my mother. Scariest thing that has ever happened to me.
Mosey on down to the Atomic Shaman Trading Post. We have t-shirts, decals, refrigerator magnets and other swag for sale. What better way to show your support for the show? Our merch can only be found on t.pub/link/Atomic Shaman Trading Post.
Like, share, subscribe, and be sure to check the notification bell. Follow the Atomic Shaman on Twitter at Motel and RV Park. Listen to Paranormal Green Text Stories on Atomic Shaman TTS on YouTube. Catch the live streams of Atomic Shaman Sweat Lodge only on Rumble.